What are your qualms with fitness? What are the things that you hate? What are the things that you enjoy about it? And how do you tie all that together? Well, we're talking about all that and more with today's guest, Heather Parady. So strap in, get ready, let's go.
I've always been that skinny guy.
Why can't I gain muscle mass?
What do I do in the gym?
They said I'd always be skinny.
This is your complete source for how to gain lean muscle and break out of your skinny body. From nutrition to getting the most out of your workouts and everything in between. We know just how frustrating gaining muscle mass can be, but don't worry, we've got you covered. You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast. Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parady. I will be your host today, and I am going to be joined by a very special guest, Heather Parady, aka my wife. But before we dive into today's content, if you have not checked out our YouTube channel, please head on over there. It is youtube.com/bones to bulk. I have a lot of full workouts on there, a lot of great videos on nutrition, a lot of stuff that coincides with the podcast, but you can actually see the visual and understand what the hell I'm talking about with the actual workouts. So head on over there, subscribe to the channel, and I would be greatly appreciative of that. All right, let's dive into today's content. So today I'm joined with Heather Parady. Heather, how are you doing?
I am so great, and I love how, so Brian didn't tell me what this podcast is about, and I just heard it for the first time, and apparently we're talking about things in fitness we don't like, and I think that's funny that you chose that to talk to me about, like, I don't like fitness or something. You saying I don't like fitness?
I haven't even asked a question
We're
yet.
already arguing, y'all.
So first off, I didn't know what this podcast was going to be about till literally about 3 minutes ago.
Yeah,
and I was like, hey,
uh-huh.
Heather, you want to be, or she was like, you should interview me. I was like, that's a good
I'm
idea.
a great guest.
So stop interrupting. All right, so I'm not just wanting to talk about the negative of fitness, but the things that are hard and that you don't want to do. How do you still do them? Because a lot of us out there, when we're starting, when we're kind of in that rut and the motivation is gone, we don't want to work out. We don't want to eat healthy. So what is a motivating factor to keep going even when you really don't want?
I think being married to Brian Parady is helpful. So I really empathize with people who are with someone who isn't into fitness because I have no idea how the hell they do it, because I don't think I would be near as healthy if it wasn't for Brian. I was into fitness before Brian. I've always been a runner, and I've been conscious of what I eat for the most part. Like, that's been a thought in my head, but I wouldn't be to the level that I am without Brian. So I think if you don't have a partner, having somebody in your life who you can talk to about it, because the thing is, with any kind of change, we need to have pattern interruptions. If you look at behavioral psychology, that's...
Oh boy, we're going there.
Well, I mean, it's the truth. So you're living your life in one way, and being aware that these things, being aware of the habits that you have is really difficult, because if you've been doing the same thing all the time and it's not brought to your awareness, then we can just keep rocking and rolling without really realizing that, hey, this isn't a healthy habit, or I didn't realize that I drank that much tequila or that much sugar and all of that. And unless you have somebody in your life to kind of point that out and have, it modeled to you what health looks like, it can be really, really difficult. So for me, having, you in my life is a big deal. And really immersing, I don't want to be fitness is really difficult for me. I'm not motivated like Brian is. My thing is something completely different than fitness. So I have to almost brainwash myself into it. So recently I've been listening to more fitness podcasts, watching a few fitness videos, and I don't get a kick out of that. Like, it's a pain in the ass. Like, no offense, Brian. Like, I just really don't enjoy it. But I know if I don't start immersing myself with that, then I'm not going to make these changes. So you have to intentionally put yourself in that environment. That's pretty much what I'm saying.
That's really good. So for you, what does your fitness regimen look like on a typical day-to-day?
For the most part, I work out, I would say 5 to 6 times a week.
And what do you do during those workouts?
Well, for the most part, I've always been a cardio girl, which hasn't served me that much. My body, I'm in my early mid-30s now, and so I'm starting to notice that I've got to incorporate weight training in, but I absolutely hate lifting weights. It's the worst, and I know this is bones to bulk, but I'm just being real. I get in a super bad mood, and I hate it.
She does.
But I know from, like, a body shape perspective, that's going to be my next level. And I was listening to one of your fitness people, I forgot his name, But he,
Will Tennyson. If you've not checked him
yeah,
out, check
I
him out on
like
YouTube.
him because he's funny, and he's not like yelling at me like all these other fitness people. But he's, he said one of the most important things is to train and not just work out, and that really made sense to me because that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been going to the gym, or our home gym, and just throwing weights around and getting in a bad mood and leaving without really paying attention to what I was doing. And you've told me that for a while. You'd be like, you gotta do leg day, you gotta do arm day, you gotta do all these different days, and I haven't listened to you. So I got a pen and paper, and I've been keeping track every time I go and lift how much I'm lifting and what I do. That way I can keep track of if I'm improving or not.
That's really good. I think that to touch on that, it's really important to have a plan, because when we don't, what happens is we go in, we do the few exercises that we're comfortable with, and we do those same exercises all the time. And what we're doing is we're not, developing all our muscles evenly, because we're just going in and we're doing bench press and we're just doing bicep curls and we're just doing the basic things. And so we really lose a lot by that because we're not working out a particular muscle enough to really strain it.
See, I'm already bored of this conversation.
To bring it under enough tension. Anyways. And so it's really important to make sure that you're hitting each individual muscle group enough to where you're actually stretching it, creating those microscopic muscle tears, and ultimately building muscle.
I will say this, you are hard pressed to meet somebody who has ran as much and as diligently as I have over the past several years.
That's true. She did an
Let
half Ironman a year and a half ago.
Let me finish my sentence.
Ridiculous.
I'm not saying that in a good way. What I'm saying is, as someone who's constantly doing cardio and running, it's not enough. And I'm definitely seeing that nutrition and that I need to start doing more weights, because as I've hit 30 and over, it's a lot easier for me to put on weight. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I used to be able to eat, bowls and bowls and bowls of cereal and just run everything off. And now I'm like, oh, wait, I'm actually gaining weight when I eat crap. So all that to say, I'm nowhere where I want to be, but cardio just isn't enough. And you can't just eat whatever you want and run. I just don't think it. I mean, I used to think that worked, and maybe it did when you were 20, but it just doesn't anymore.
Yeah, and I talk about all the time, even with weight loss, the importance of strength training is so paramount, because the more muscle you build, the more calories you're going to burn on a day-to-day basis.
And my knees have been hurting. You know that.
Yeah. And so, the running, while great, is hard on the body. It really is. And if you are a runner, if you do a lot of, heavy pounding constantly, then especially working out your legs is so crucial for strength training, because you're going to build that bone density up, you're going to build that muscle up to help support the pounding that you're putting those legs through. Kind of switching gears here a little bit, what would you say is your least favorite healthy food and your favorite unhealthy food?
Oh, that's easy. Well, I wish I liked avocados, however the hell you pronounce it. That's a hard word if you're Southern. Avocado, whatever. That little green thing with the pit in it. I know that's really good for you. It's supposed to have a lot of healthy fats and stuff. And most people will eat the date lots out of those things. I cannot
homemade guac is amazing.
Dude, and I wish I liked it because I know how good it is for
I'll get you there. I got you on hummus.
You did get me on hummus, but
Next is guac.
Guacky. And that's another hard word. Let's talk about that. Guacamole. What do you say with that? Anyways, I don't like that thing. You can't even talk about it. You can't even pronounce it. It's yucky. Favorite unhealthy food. I really like margaritas, which is so bad for you. And I'm just going to say it because I know that's two. But sugar, chips, cheese dip. I like unhealthy food. I like all of it. It's also, if it's bad for you, it's my boo. I love it.
All right, honest talk there.
I'm just keeping it real, dude.
Keeping it real. So what would you say to someone who is struggling with the consistency, the day-to-day? You're even though you're changing up your routine, you've faithfully ran consistently for years and years and have run a lot, and that takes a lot of willpower, because I hate running. Running to me is so much mental game. And so what would you say if you had to boil it down to one thing that keeps you going when I don't know, the thought of running every day just makes me want to roll over and cry. So
I think with anything, not just fitness, with consistency, we have to get a deeper desire. And if we're struggling with consistency, I think we need to ask ourselves, how can I increase my desire for this so much, almost to an obsession. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you don't need to get obsessed stuff. I think like with big progress with anything, and especially getting over a hump that you've been in for a really long time, you have to go almost a little crazy with it. And like I said earlier, immersing yourself in content like this and people who are doing what you want to do, and just really intentionally bombarding yourself with that to deepen that desire. Because the truth is, no matter what it is, fitness or not, if you want something bad enough, you're going to do it. And that's just the truth. So for me, whenever I think about, I was actually thinking, I was running today and I had this thought about getting in better shape. I was like, I just haven't wanted it, because if I wanted it, I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing, and I would be trying harder. How do I deepen my desire for it? And I think that's a question people have to ask themselves.
That's good. That's good. And what you said earlier, I'm going to just kind of play off that a little bit. You said a community of people. So if you are on Facebook, please check out the Facebook group. It is a great community of people from literally on every stage of the journey, from very beginner to advanced, and we're all just there to encourage one another. Heather, thank you so much for being on today. Where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
In your house, that's where.
No, for real.
Okay, heatherparady.com, Heather Parady everywhere, including TikTok, and also have a podcast called Unconventional Leaders.
Which is amazing. Check it out, guys.
When's the last time you
gals.
listened to it?
It's been a while, but I hear you recording them, so I kind of
true.
like
That's
hear
valid.
the
Okay.
podcast.
Okay. But thanks, Brian, for trusting me and having me on your podcast, even though I'm probably one of the most unfit women you've ever met.
Whatever. Not true at all. All right. Thank you all so much for listening. And remember, regardless of what walls you're hitting, you can accomplish any fitness goal. You've got this.
You've got it.